Now that we have this removed from the bike on both sides, we now have more visual and access to the radiator and everything. So what we will be doing first is draining the radiator, and I want to be doing that by loosening this, and I've got my bucket here, and I'll just drain the radiator, and after I get most of it out, I'll just clog it up so that nothing else can get in or out. And once that is drained, I will remove this screw here and a few of the wires back in here. That should allow us to completely remove, or not remove, but just be able to swing it out of the way. This will have to be removed, a few of these hoses here. What I'm hoping is I can just swing this kind of out of the way without having to completely remove it. And once we get the headers replaced, just bolt those two bolts back up, connect the hoses, the wires, and hopefully that's all. Now again, this is my first time to do a full exhaust on a bike, so all this is new to me. If you have any other recommendations besides clearly taking it to a shop, because I want to do it myself, for that way in the future if I ever do this again, or for any of our viewers, just be sure and let me know. Now I have a clean shop towel that I want to kind of wad up and plug up this hole in the line to keep any other contaminants or anything from getting in. But of course, before I put it all back together, I will thoroughly clean it, make sure there's no debris. Okay. So now that the radiator is mostly drained, not all the way drained, what I'm using now is, since I can't seem to get any of these wires undone, I'm just gonna, using, I believe it's a T5, I want to just disconnect these two bolts from the radiator, and that way I don't have to disconnect any of the wires and risk damaging anything. So let me just do a recap here. I have both of these hoses undone. I have the large one here undone. I still have all the hoses on the opposite side connected, because what I'm hoping to do is just to swing this down out of the way, but I mean, if I have to, I will take it all the way off. And then on the other side, just so there won't be any wires or connectors broken or shorts, anything, I just unbolted it from the radiator, and I'm hoping that there won't be any issues, any additional issues. And then I already have on both sides the radiator unbolted. As you can see, I have my bucket down here, and that's basically what's holding it up right now. I have this wire here also undone. It just pinches from the underneath, and I don't see anything additional here. Looks like there are 3 more bolts underneath there holding the oil cooler onto the radiator, and got my 10mm here, and let's go ahead and get that removed. now get my torch in here to heat these header bolts up and get them off. And now this next part might take a little bit because I'll have to heat them up and then go from there. So I will just do a time lapse on this part. Alright guys, so as you can see, I got all the bolts broken loose and most of the way out. That far side over there I actually already have completely out. There's the was a little flange. So now I will work on getting the rest of them out. I will actually still leave the tops on all of them and just get the lower ones first. I figured that'll probably make everything easier. It is a tight fit, so if you can find like a slim one of these, that would work out best. This is a 9, I believe, yeah. Because the header gets in the way of the top part there, but it's not hot anymore, so I might be able to get it with my fingers. No. So now what I'm going to do is loosen up this clamp, because that should be all that's holding it to the collector here. And of course I'll remove the collector, which has a couple bolts there. Then I will have to undo this. This is the valve control for the throttle and stuff. There's a little valve in here that opens and closes. I guess that helps with the back pressure, so I'll have to undo that. And actually, there's a bolt right there, so I bet I could just take that off. You know what? We'll just go with the flow. So this right here, I have a 12mm for that. That works. So that right there is a 10mm. Alright, so I loosened up the ends here on both sides, and then I was able to get those out. Shouldn't need any of this anymore. but I'm not exactly sure all that. Okay, there's that. Okay, I see how it goes. Come on. Here we go. Now, that should be all besides the O2 sensor. Alright, so as you can see, my headers are now down. So as a recap, I used a torch to heat up the bolts because they were heat welded in there, so I had to take a heat torch and heat them up. I then moved on down to the valve here, and if you inside here, there was two of the little mechanisms. These actually right here. You just loosen them up, take out the bolt, that comes undone. You just twist them around right here, twist them around, and they will pop out. I loosened up this, which actually I didn't need to now, because I just remembered if I undo this bolt and this one right here, which mount up to these two spots. I already had the one on the other side done, but after I take out that one and that one there, just gave it a few little shakes and it fell right down. Now I just got to disconnect the O2 sensor and swap over to the new ones. Okay, as you can see, the headers are out. And it was a booger, let me tell you, to get it in between the oil cooler here. I had to wiggle, I had to put a little bit more pressure than I wanted to, but it did come out, and just some light scrapes. I didn't actually damage anything, so you can't, just to let you guys know, you can do it. It is hard though. Now I want to unbox the new ones.